low-income owner-occupied homes. The grant would allow for home repairs such as roofing, furnace, water heater, and electrical. The city applied for this same grant a few months ago and we were not successful. My understanding is that these grants are very competitive. If I am correct, only 2 out of 8 cities that had grant applications were awarded on the last cycle. Part of that reason is because it is scored, and one of the big scores is how many people come to this public meeting. We only had 2 come to the first one. So you can see we're gonna rack up some extra points right here. These grants are awarded by OCRA, which is the Office of Community and Rural Affairs. Our grant writer for this application is SIDC, which is Southern Indiana Development Commission. They will also administer the grant for us. They will take the applications, evaluate them, and decide who is eligible. Tonight, we're fortunate to have Jenny Deerwester from SIDC, and she will explain how this process works, and then she will answer any questions that you might have in regard to that. So, Jenny, you'd like to take over?
Thank you. So the meeting is being recorded just so that we can have accurate minutes. Do I need to turn this on? Or, no, okay.
It's hard to
Yes,
hear back
that's fine.
here.
I can speak
You
up.
mumbled, hopefully.
So there's a few things that I must get out. The mayor explained everything very well, but I'm trying to get, is that better? So today is November 4th, 2024 at 6 p.m. We're here in the Mitchell City Council chambers. Can everyone hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. The meeting was advertised in compliance with Indiana Code IC 5-3-1. The meeting was advertised in the Bedford Times-Mail on October the 16th, 2024. The purpose of this meeting is to provide citizens the opportunity to express their views on community development and housing needs, past community development and housing activities, and the proposed project, which consists of providing CDBG OOR funds in the form of a grant to low and moderate income homeowners living within the corporate limits of Mitchell. Assistance is based on household size and income. The project would benefit approximately 18 homes in the corporate limits. Eligible work items include the following, and it's just these 5 items, nothing else. HVAC, which includes heating and or air conditioning, electrical upgrade, a water heater, accessibility into the house, and a roof. The city is targeting the following populations: elderly, disabled, veterans, and or single parent households. The grant amount requested is $350,000. The city will be providing matching funds in the amount of $123,000 towards the project. Those funds are being provided by a grant that the Southern Indiana Development Commission received from USDA Rural Development, and the city is also providing $900 of their funding for this project as well. No displacement will occur as a result of this project. Now, I also wanted to let you know of some paperwork that's up here at the front. We do have, many of you have already filled this out. It says it's an initial application. So basically this is a survey of sorts from homeowners who are interested in see if they're eligible for the grant funds if it's awarded. So we have this in several forms. You could fill, if you haven't done so already and you want to be considered, you can fill out this here. You can take it home, take a business card of mine and turn it in by hopefully fax or email, or you can turn it in here to the city, to Lori, but I just don't trust the mail. So one of those ways. And then also, if you have a smartphone and you don't want to, you want to go ahead and do it on the computer, here is a flyer and there's a QR code down here, and you can do it that way, and then it'll be computerized and we'll already have it. For those who aren't necessarily here to potentially receive assistance, but you support the city in doing this project. This is for you. So again, you can take this home, the QR code's here, you can do it on the computer. Last, we have my son, my helper tonight. He is here and he can help you do either survey, either the homeowner survey on the computer or just the general support of the project here on the computer. And he can just show you which one that you need and turn the computer around to you, and you can do it that way. Doesn't take very long at all. We have until the meeting begins at 7 o'clock to do any of that. So feel free, just let him know if you want the homeowner or just the support one. Feel free to take any of this with you. Again, I've got my business card, and so now I'm going to turn it over to any questions that anybody has. Or comments. Comments are good too. As the mayor said, they like to see names on here, but if you got comments. Yes, ma'am.
So who's going to do we find the person to do the work?
No, what would happen is the city would procure the services of contractors, and how they first start that is they would advertise for a bidders list. And basically that would be a legal notice out in the paper, Bedford Times Mail, asking for any contractor that's interested in this type of work to send their grant administrator a letter of interest. That just tells them, you know, their name, their address, and their contact information. Then what they would do is that grant administrator would then send out the information to the contractor when it's time to bid out the homes. Now, if you know of contractors that might be interested in this kind of stuff, go ahead and have them call our office, and we have a list of contractors. For contractors, the requirements are pretty simple. They just have to have the public liability property damage insurance and workers' compensation if they have employees. There's no Davis-Bacon wages. We're not doing lead work, so they don't have to be certified in lead-based paint. So it's just basically those two criteria.
So they call you direct?
They can call my office directly, and we can put them on that list.
I know where heating, air conditioning, that's it.
Now, she made mention of heating and air. We will bid the projects out to one general contractor. So if we bid on a house, you know, maybe there's a roof and there's HVAC work. A general would have to bid it, and they'd have to bid out both items. And if they're awarded that, then they have to be responsible for those both items. But not to say that a heating and air person couldn't be on that list, and then they can just look at the scope of work, and if there's somebody that just needs heating and air conditioning,
Yeah.
they could do that. Or if the HVAC person wants to act as a general, that's fine too.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to do that.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It does make sense, but how they know how to bid? They're going to come to my house and make the
Yes,
bid,
so
and
what
then
the-
let you notify you.
So first, if you're in the program, then the city will hire an inspector, and he's a licensed, Indiana licensed home inspector. So then that person would come out to the homes to see what needs to be done. He'll only look at those 5 items, and you know, he can bid them all out or just what you want. It's with this type of program, you have a little more, choice in the matter, because you know, there's not a set order of which items come first as far as a priority. So of those 5 items, you can have him look at all 5 of them, or you can just have him look at one. And then that inspector will do what's called a scope of work, and then we will include that in what's called bid specifications. So it would contain all of the scope of work for preferably all the homes that we do, and then also all the paperwork and everything for the contractors, and have everything in there that they need. Then the city bids it out to general contractors. And
Who
then
is that home inspector?
they'll have to procure that once the grant
Is it the one here in this building?
If that
The building
person,
inspector?
I don't know how that would work. I don't know how that would work.
My guess it would be a former contractor, maybe who's retired.
It can be, there is a list, on Indiana that, of inspectors who are licensed home inspectors. And so it would have to be somebody on that list. And typically, like when we do it, we will look at, pretty much the 5-county area around in here and try to get, we send out the proposals to, people in all 5 counties that we cover. But to answer your question then too, yes, once the contractors get that scope of work for the homes, some contractors come out to the homes to take a look at everything, some don't. So then they make their bids, and the lowest, most responsible bidder is usually the one. Any other comments or questions? No, you can just go right ahead.
About how long does it take to
So,
know that you got the grant?
so,
I'm talking about.
For a
me
homeowner.
as knowing.
Right.
the-
so if the city, is successful in their application, it's due November 15th. I really don't look, from what they talked about in our meeting that one day, I don't look for us to know before Christmas. So it could be, in January before the city would be notified. And pretty much once they get the grant agreement, which the state's pretty quick about that, within a month at least, they have 18 months to complete it. So the first thing that would be done, and we do this kind of consecutively, is the city procuring an inspector, and then the grant administrator would then start going through the survey forms that we get, and if there's somebody on our waiting list who maybe didn't send in a survey, contacting everybody, and then that's when the real application process begins.
Could you tell me again what the November 15th deadline is for?
The November 15th deadline is when the city will be putting in the application to the Office of Community and Rural Affairs.
And that's everybody's forms back in by that
We will,
time?
we would ask that those forms, any of these be either turned in or completed on the computer, by November the 12th, just so that we have enough time to get everything, into, we will, like the ones that we have already seen, we'll scan those and it will be part of the city's application. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, the work that is being done, now will they put a lien on the house?
No, there is no lien.
Okay, that's
So-
what she was,
Basically free and clear.
okay, that's what she was concerned about.
So, on the survey form for homeowners, the income limits are on there, so it goes by household size. So you can look on there and see where you fall. You gotta be below that number. You have to own your house and you have to be living in it.
Right,
Single wide trailers are not eligible. Contract sales are not eligible. Life estates are, and modular homes are eligible. And you have to, I can't remember if I said it, you have to live within the corporate limits
right,
of Mitchell, and you have to maintain and have property insurance on the home.
right. Okay, she's had this one filled out.
That's basically the same as what's here.
Well, they filled this out when they come to your house.
Oh, okay, I remember you now, yes,
Okay,
yeah.
and they've already took pictures and everything, so,
But if she could fill out what remains
okay,
on that form.
okay,
As I told another gentleman, the state really likes to see, in, your own words, not
Okay.
my words, but your words. What and why do you need it?
okay,
And why do you think it would be beneficial to Mitchell?
okay,
So yes, if she could, or somebody, I remember talking with her, if somebody could fill that out, and again, you can turn it into the city, we can make arrangements to get them, they can scan them and email them to us, or if you want to do that with the business cards, like I said, I just prefer not trusting the mail service, I'm sorry, but it just sometimes takes forever, and I don't know if it actually, we
And
would
you
actually get,
lost.
so.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Now, will you come here and fill out that stuff like last time?
If the city is
If it's
awarded the
awarded.
grant,
Yes.
yes, we would do it the same way. We would come up here, probably take appointments again, so that, to be conscious of everyone's time, and do it that way.
Okay.
Yes,
That's what
When the city gets the grant, I can't remember what all we needed to bring in.
so it's, pretty much the same as it was the last time. You need proof of, insurance, and then a copy of your deed. And at that time, we're looking at 2025, so 2025 income. So like Social Security, that letter from Social Security saying, you got an increase this year, this is what you're gonna make. And that's pretty much it. I believe, yeah.
I know, I don't know if this program or not, that, houses were rehabbed with money, but they had to stay there for so long. Is that part of that too?
Used to be,
Okay,
maybe whenever, I think you guys received maybe one, earlier years, through Indiana Housing. But yes, it was that way. It's no longer that way. There's no lien, so there's no stipulation that you gotta,
stay there so long.
mm-hmm,
And I know the gentleman here, he had, last time he had 2 or 3 items, is that correct? You had,
I had one,
that you had some other items that you had to decide.
yes.
It was between
yeah,
electrical.
they did an estimate on the roof and electrical.
That's right here.
And it was 37,000 something, and I had to pick one.
Right.
That was done, and it was, so I chose electrical instead of roof.
So that's one thing to,
They bid $19,000 on the electrical, and it was only 12,000.
so that's something to keep in mind too. You may have to make a choice. of,
Yes,
what your priorities are.
yes, that's, if you bid out, if you want them to look at everything, just,
Or they told me that if I could come up with the money, I
Mhm.
could pay, if it was over what the bid was, if I could pay
Mhm.
the extra cash, they go ahead and do whatever, but I had to pay what the grant didn't pay.
correct. And sometimes that all depends on, the bids for all the homes. Sometimes we might be able to spend a little bit more on another house. The other difference, with this grant too is, the match money is a little bit more than what, we had the last time for the city. I think it's about roughly, maybe 40 to 45,000 more. So, that makes a difference too. Any other comments or questions? Any comments or questions or anything from the city council, Mayor?
That's one thing I had.
Okay.
I think you've covered it very well, Jenny.
Okay. If not, like I said, I'm gonna be here. Canton will be here to help anybody who wants to go ahead and fill out one of those surveys on the computer tonight, or more than happy to take one of the flyers out there elsewhere. And with the support flyers, I didn't get it done before I left today, but we will be, I'll be sending you an email tomorrow, you and Lori and Renee. Do I have your email?
Maybe, I think I gave it, what was the gal's name? I talked-
Mackenzie?
Yeah, I think I gave it.
Okay, and if not, I think she did say it was in our book or not. You might just before you leave, give me your email, and then, and we're also gonna send it out to other people as well. So, if I don't have emails for all of the council members, I might be contacting the city to get your emails so that I can email that directly, or you can just take the form and do the QR code. But we definitely like to hear from everyone on the council, and we'll get it out to the businesses and some other places, and Facebook. We'll put it on Facebook, and you guys can put it on Facebook too. However, we need to get the word out. No more questions?
when our age, that we are now, our age, we're gonna be before you.
Age now would be fine. Okay, if there's nothing else then, I'm gonna go ahead and adjourn the hearing at 6:20. All right,
Go up there now,
Yep.
or sequence stay in here while they have the other.
that starts at 7, so